Yep, rookie
There we
mistake.
go.
Thanks, Derek.
Perfect. Awesome. So we're going to talk about a little bit about shipping logistics and post purchase follow ups from customers and problems in that space. We This is something we haven't talked too much about. We did see some of those notification emails talking about retention, but I think we're going to have a really kind of unique take on this. And honestly, I think your tool is going to blow some people's minds as well, especially since it's free and just kind of makes you money. I like tools like that. Uh, and increases conversion rate. Adam, I will let you explain route and talk more about the post purchase experience.
Okay, perfect. Well, I've just turned on my screen share there. Is that working for everybody, that first
Looks
slide?
good. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, kind of like everybody, yeah, I definitely want to just give a little bit of context for who we are to kind of explain why we're talking about what we're talking about, creating an intentional post-purchase experience. I'll get into greater detail about who Route is here at the end, but primarily know that Route is focused on the experience from the time that a customer reaches that confirmation page and gets that function email, beautifully branded like the guys at Bentley just talked about, all the way until they actually handle the thing that they bought. That's a stage that you can leave to chance. You could just leave to what the shipping company does. You can do your best with email engagement during that time, but Route's here to say that there's more that you can do that's in your control. And like Derek hinted at, it's something that's free to you guys. We've developed a really cool business model that way. But what we will primarily be focusing on today is these three things: is how Amazon has raised the bar in those post-purchase experience expectations. We'll talk about the impact of that and why Amazon cares so much about it and why you should care about it. And then I will share with you 2 strategies that you can do before the end of the day today to make an impact on your entire post-purchase experience. So first off, how Amazon has raised the bar. And this could actually go for a lot of different market forces. But primarily what I'm doing is highlighting Amazon as a bit of a case study here. But you might think of other marketplaces or other brands that have been intentional this way. So first things first, we can address the fact that we know that consumers are shopping on Amazon, right? We all do it for our personal shopping. But for those of us that have brands that want to attract customers to shop on our own sites, we can actually identify what makes Amazon appealing to customers and then see what we can do to actually match those experiences through our direct channels. So in the consumer's point of view, the very best customer service experience that they've had recently really sets the table stakes for what they expect from every future experience that they're going to get from a brand, whether it's getting a similar experience from Amazon again or from a boutique 2 states over that nobody's ever heard of. In the customer's mind, it doesn't matter what resources you have, they want to be treated the same. So first off, Amazon's appealing because it's got a familiar shopping experience that customers know and love. We all know how to go start a search. We all know how to investigate products and check reviews and dig into it. So it's easy. The second point is they have instant, effortless order updates. Hard as we might try to send beautifully crafted emails with a shipping confirmation, with shipping updates out for delivery, all of that, Amazon does it through the app. I don't even have to dig into my email to go find those. I noticed this over the holidays. I was receiving push notifications in my Amazon app for stuff my wife bought that I didn't even know we were buying. But I was being told that it was out for delivery. It's down the street, right? These notifications that I did not even have to dig through a very busy email inbox to try to go find. There's premium checkout options. Customers can check out any way they want to. There's upgraded shipping. There's the free Prime shipping. There's add expert install. There's lease to own options, breaking it up into payments. You can have it any way that you want as a customer. And then lastly, there's that ongoing order history. So I have an extremely convenient way to go back and rediscover things that I've bought, share them with others. I just did that the other day. I shared with my father something that I had bought that he asked what it was, pulled out my order history and shared it with him. But it makes it really easy to go back to. So I think many of you know that about 22% of Amazon sales come from that order history and just making it easy to come back. So with everything that's appealing about Amazon, do we as brands just say, that sounds pretty good, I guess I'm just going to concede, go pay the rates to sell on Amazon? Well, no, because partnering with Amazon comes with some pretty hefty costs, and I'm not just talking about dollars out the door. First off, the obvious one is margins, right? You've got to pay to play. And I think we would all agree that for those of us maybe who have an omni-channel strategy and we sell our products on Amazon and on direct, we would all prefer to sell one directly through our channel rather than going through the Amazon channel. The second one is that Amazon eliminates that brand experience. Everything that we just dove into with the site breakdown, all those things that are so important, you have zero control over that. It is not at all up to you. You can certainly do a little bit with your product page and the photos that you upload, but I think we would all agree there's no brand control there, ultimately, until the customer actually gets the product from Amazon. Same thing goes with customer data. I don't have any of it. I don't have any insight into who my shopper profile is, no information that I would need to then very strategically and carefully spend my marketing dollars to go find more of them and to incentivize those people to come back, because Amazon doesn't share it. And then lastly, yeah, Amazon is going to take care of the customer, and that's going to be a great experience for them, but that costs me. So if you think about those situations where a customer complains that a package didn't show up, or it was stolen, or it was lost, it's going to be really breezy and easy for the customer to get that taken care of, but Amazon's going to give one away that you are paying for. So a customer bought one and Amazon gave away two for you. And that's not always that scalable if we're giving away 2 for 1 anytime a situation arises. So we've started to see some pushback, right? Look at the example of Away Luggage, for example. They have never sold on Amazon, right? Because as their president has said, that anything else that you buy on Amazon is a commodity, and that's not their strategy. They believe that people buy Away Luggage because of the brand and because of the quality of the product, and they are not willing to pay those Amazon prices. Again, I'm not talking about dollars. I'm talking about sacrificed brand control and sacrificed customer data. It's too important for them to run over there and plug into the network and the infrastructure and the plug and play nature of Amazon. Nike tried it for a while, right? A different example. They did sell their products on Amazon. They piloted it, but I'm sure you all saw the press release. I think it was just before the holiday season or maybe in the middle of it, that they were ending that relationship with Amazon. And why? Because they were too committed to direct, unbreakable relationships and amazing experiences to just hand that off on Amazon. So it seems like in this situation, I've got one or the other, right? I can either go control a really crafted brand experience. I can do a site breakdown. I can work with consultants to have an amazing experience on my site. I can work really hard to have branded emails and all this control. Oh, but shoot, everybody shops on Amazon anyways. So do I go over there and just plug into where shoppers are, where they know how to shop, where their credit cards are already saved, where I know that they're going to take care of me? It seems like we're in a rock and a hard place here. And I'm here to tell you that there's a third alternative, and that there is a blend of those two things. But first, let's actually look at one more piece of customer data. When shoppers were asked what makes up their mind if they're going to shop on Amazon or anywhere else, there's a really obvious response that 80% of them said price. So if you have a better price than your own product on Amazon or than a competitive product on Amazon, great. 80% of customers are going to come your way. That's awesome. If you are trying to compete with Amazon or products or competitors on Amazon or even your own products on Amazon, and you have the ability to reduce price, awesome. That's probably a really clear recommendation to do it, but most businesses don't have the luxury of just slashing and competing on price. And frankly, how many of us want to do that, right? We would much rather elevate our brands, our value, and stick on our price than just quibble over those dollars. So for those who have a distinct brand, where your price is set to reflect that brand value, your opportunity lies in improving the post-purchase experience, because 61% of respondents said they would shop somewhere else that had a better post-purchase experience. And that makes perfect sense. If a customer is willing to step away from what's familiar to them, if they're willing to step away from the convenience of Amazon and pay more for your product and your brand, well, then along with that, they also expect a better customer experience to go along with it. And by the end of the year, Walker has predicted that customer experience will overtake price and product as the brand differentiator. And so this is an opportunity to get ahead of that and not keep relying on these factors that are becoming less important to consumers. So the second part of this, what is the impact of the post-purchase experience, right? Why is it that 60% of customers We'll actually go somewhere else for improved post-purchase experience. Really? Is that better shipping? Like, what is that? That doesn't seem like it's a big deal. We spend so much time focusing on driving traffic to the site, on crafting a beautiful experience on the site, on making it easy to check out. Really, like 60% of customers make their decision based on the post-purchase experience. So over these next few slides, I just want to dive into why that matters with some key findings, and why it matters so much in the customer's mind, why it matters so much to Amazon to get it right, and why they have established the bar that they have for customers, and why you have to get it right for your direct channel. So we can actually quantify the impact of just leaving it up to chance and leaving my delivery and engagement during that stage the way it is, versus being intentional about that time between hitting a confirmation page and actually receiving and handling the thing that I bought. So the first thing to accept is that delivery breakdowns will happen. It's a fact of life. And this refers to any situation that leads to the shopper not receiving what they ordered. If we are purely looking at the stats from the delivery companies, about 3% of packages do not make it to the person that they shipped it to. Now you may look at that and say, 3%, that's not a big deal. But when you do the math out of the 87 billion packages that were shipped just over a year ago in 2018, that's 2.5 billion packages that never got there. And by the way, this doesn't include packages that were successfully delivered and then stolen by some jerk who saw an opportunity to take it off somebody's porch or doorstep. So there's another, hundreds of millions of packages that don't go missing, that were successfully delivered. And the fact is that no amount of excellence in your online shopping experience or the emails you send or the ads that you send out to get them there in the first place can compensate for the frustration of a lost, damaged, or stolen package. You worked hard, you spent big, you fine-tuned your product, your marketing, your packaging, your communications, the customer experience and shopping through to checkout, and then we are handing off that experience to a third-party shipping company. That's a pretty big step to have as deep control as we have to then surrender it to somebody else and trust that they're going to be a perfect extension of that brand that we've so carefully crafted. It's a big ask. So how does the customer see this, right? What happens when it goes wrong? If a delivery goes poorly, just take a second and think through it. Think through the last time that maybe your team reported to you that this happened. Is it your fault? Is it the carrier's fault? Is it the thief who took it? Is it the fault of the customer who didn't get off the porch soon enough? Once you as the merchant fulfill the order and hand it off to the carrier, that's it, right? You can't be held responsible for what happens after it leaves your possession. But unfortunately, no. In the mind of the customer, they trusted you, the merchant, with the purchase, and that purchase is not real until they get it. So you are still on the hook. So check out these numbers. 84% of consumers will not go back to an online store after a bad delivery experience. And that's broader research. That's just a bad delivery experience. That doesn't mean the package never got there. It could be that they were mad that it took too long, right? It could be that they got the thing, but it was the wrong thing. Bad delivery experiences are bad news. It will kill your repeat sales. And then the second point is that 94% of customers blame the retailer after a delivery goes wrong. I know it's not fair, it's not logical, but when I don't get my order from abc.com or whatever it may be, I'm not blaming the US Postal Service. I'm not blaming UPS or FedEx or DHL or whoever it is. My beef is with the retailer because I gave you my money and I don't have the thing that I paid for. And that's what's going on in the customer's mind. And if you take a step back, it makes perfect sense. You can provide the best shopping experience possible. You can have a tailored experience to exactly what they want. But if that product doesn't show up or it's broken or stolen, nothing that led to that outcome really matters. But it's not all bad news. There is a flip side to this. If you will be intentional about your delivery experience, if you can take steps to improve that experience, to remedy the issues that arise, there are huge rewards from the customers. So over 73% of customers report that delivery is most important to the overall shopping experience. Again, just take a step back and look at all the effort that you spend on ads, on the site itself, on the checkout process, on all of that. But in the customer's mind, their biggest concern is delivery. Disproportionate probably to the way that we've thought about our funnel and our sites. But then 87% of shoppers will be more loyal to you if you will reimburse them in the case of a lost, stolen, or damaged package. So it's not all bad news. We don't just need to think about, oh shoot, if this delivery company screws up, I'm on the hook and there's nothing I can do about it. You can. If you will put policies in place to be able to take care of these, if you will communicate that proactively to your customers beforehand that they're taken care of, and give them a clear policy to be able to resolve these things, they are ready to reward you with greater loyalty, to refer you to others after amazing experiences of being compensated or having packages replaced, and obviously making future purchases. So the post-purchase experience, as we see it, can be broken down into 3 key areas: track, resolve, and engage. So if you're providing a better tracking experience from the time that a customer checks out, you're doing a better job of keeping them in the loop, which is going to reduce those "where is my order" inquiries, or the WISMO inquiries. And we all know that those are the most common questions that come from customers once they've checked out. So if I can keep them engaged, I can reduce those WISMO calls and emails. I'm not spending nearly as much supporting the customer after the fact, which is boosting my cost per acquisition and increasing my LTV. Decreasing my cost per acquisition. The next piece is being able to resolve those issues, creating a policy and solutions around delivery issues like lost, damage, and stolen packages that further reduces support tickets because they're not coming to me. I can speed up the resolution on those claims and decrease the negative impacts of delivery issues. And then finally, engaging with a customer this way throughout that experience are branded touch points. And it's branded by you and not the carrier, which increases repeat customers. You're increasing that customer lifetime value, and again, reducing your cost per acquisition. So here's the big picture of how Route actually offers a solution to do this. We integrate with all e-commerce platforms to give a customer the option to add what we call Route Plus at checkout to be updated to their order. They are updated through their order through the Route app, which gives them delivery updates that are no longer just buried in their email, that expect them to go find a shipping confirmation, a status update, and a delivery confirmation. We can then push that to them through the app, so they can be doing whatever they're doing and notified the second that status updates by the shipper. And then if there's any issue with resolution, they can take care of it self-service and continue that engagement to drive them back to your brand. So here it works. Let's just talk through a scenario. Customers add Route at checkout for a small percentage of their cart total. It's typically 1 to 2% of the total cart value, which then protects their order from delivery failures of lost, damage, or even theft. You can then drive them to the Route app to track this order along with any other online orders that they make, actually. I'll explain how it works in a moment, where they then get proactive push notifications about all their shipments, about them being processed, shipped, out for delivery, on your doorstep, or ready for pickup in the case of store pickup orders. If anything goes wrong, they can make a claim by tapping their phone a couple of times, and Route will actually go back into that store and repurchase that exact same order at full price from you as the merchant to have sent out to them within 24 hours. They have a stress-free, effortless process to get it replaced or refunded. And as they track all their other packages in the Route app, they're building this universal order history, very similar to what you've got, but only for Amazon. We're building it universally across the entire e-commerce experience to create this new direct channel to rediscover products, to share your products with others, repurchase them again, and engage with you in the future. So the 2 strategies that I have for you to implement today, obviously, revolve around Route. But it's a way that you can have your cake and eat it too. We talked about how it may feel like I can either control my brand, my experience, collect customer data, and do things on my own on a Shopify page or on my own e-commerce platform, or I can fit in Amazon, but it's going to come at the cost of all the things that I would like on here. With these 2 solutions from Route, we are giving you an opportunity to act like Amazon without spending like Amazon in a way that customers love and reward you for. So number 1 recommendation is offer a better tracking experience. For 20 years, or however long we've been doing e-commerce, e-commerce has depended on emails for post-purchase communications. And the only improvement we had in the last 20 or 30 years is sending an email that includes a tracking number, right? Or maybe doing better branding on those emails. Email's not going anywhere. It's here to stay, but it's antiquated, and it's a missed opportunity to carry your brand through the experience. So my recommendation is to encourage your shoppers to download the Route app in your order confirmation page or in your confirmation emails. By them creating an account and linking it to their Gmail, Route will automatically pull any tracking numbers they receive in a confirmation email right into the app, so they can see all of their orders all in one place, regardless of the shipper and regardless of the carrier. So they no longer have to dig through all those emails over the course of a few days to try to stay updated on their order status, nor do they have to watch their inbox for proactive email notifications that you or the shipping company may be sending. Again, I'm not bashing on email. It's so important with everything that we just heard from Spently, but Spently offers 21 different emails. If every brand that a customer is interacting with is sending a handful of those emails, that inbox gets piled on really quickly, which is why that average email open rate is really low, down in the 23%. You've got to send those emails, but with the Route app, we can essentially put a microphone up to it to bring those most important tracking updates to the surface through push notifications, so shoppers can see that their product is in transit. They see your brand and they visually anticipate delivery, very similar to the way they're anticipating their Uber to come pick them up, to keep them in the loop on with those proactive push notifications. Most astounding of all is that those push notifications are not a nice to have. They have an open rate of 90% on average versus that dismal 23% open rate for emails. I think one of the interesting things from Spently is they shared that data, that 114% open rate for those confirmation emails. Why? Because customers want this information. That means they open it several times trying to get more information. That's what Route's creating. We're piggybacking on that same finding. Customers want this information and eat a ton of them without digging through the inbox. But this tracking also, again, is creating that order history. Every time they track a package, we're able to connect it to the brand so they can be able to filter through everything they've bought online and be able to get back to you. My second recommendation for everybody is to mitigate delivery risk. You can anticipate that delivery breakdowns will happen, so you can streamline the resolution process for your customers. With Route, you can create a process that does not require your customers to go search for the right support contact info. They don't have to make calls or emails, and they certainly don't need to try to escalate their issue by asking to speak with the manager or asking for special treatment. When an error occurs, they can just tap their phone 3 times and Route will take care of it in an automated, delightful process. It is unmatched experience. It's like cutting the line and, being given extra stuff all at the same time. And all it requires from the merchant is to add our app to your checkout process and give your customers the option to add Route Plus to their order if they want it for about 1 or 2% of the cart total. That's something that our team can determine, just depending on the risk of your goods. But we currently see an average of 55% of shoppers adding Route Plus to their orders when they have the option, which tells us that a heightened level of service is something that customers want and they love and they're willing to pay a little bit for. Route is available on the Shopify App Store, WooCommerce, Magento 1 and 2. We have an open API for everybody else. It's very simple dev time with the API. You could literally have it up and running here by the end of the day. I think it's worth noting that in any of these cases, it is not dependent on the user downloading the app. Very similar to some other solutions out there. If a customer doesn't want to download the app, you can promote them to just click on a link and provide that tracking experience in a web instance in their browser. But in that case, they'll only be able to see that one order because they just haven't given us enough information to be able to see everything else that they have being shipped to them at that time. But encouraging your shoppers to track their orders with the Route app, offering Route Plus at checkout are 2 easy solutions that are available for you today to increase that lifetime value and decrease your customer support costs. And again, Route is totally free. That is not a promotion just for people here on this call today. That is not a short time thing. Route is free to merchants. We make our money primarily just through the opportunity to give customers the options to add that premium protection to their order. You work really hard and you spend big to create compelling targeted ads. You optimize your site for maximum conversion. You send beautiful emails to try to engage them. After all of that work that you've done to earn those sales dollars, Route comes in as a solution to protect those dollars from going out the back door and being eaten up in that post-sale support and that post-purchase experience from customer inquiries. So I know we're about out of time here. We're working with almost 2,500 brands worldwide. We do work across borders, whether your customers are cross borders or if you are not located in the United States, totally fine, as long as you're not in Iran or North Korea. Again, 55% of shoppers are adding Route when we give them the option. And what we've seen over the past week in the madness of working from home and pseudo quarantine and all of this, is that has stayed really steady. And we've seen some bumps in some cases, bumps up. And I think what that means is that customers are more concerned than ever. They want the stuff that they're buying. And life is stressful enough as it is. The last thing we need is to be dealing with a package that didn't show up or didn't arrive. And so easy solutions that you can use to guarantee delivery. We do have a promo, although we're free. I'll let Derek chat this one out. But if you go to route.com/ecommerce tech, or I believe he's actually got the reverse of that. I think he's got eCommerce
Yeah,
tech
it's
route.
kind of the opposite, isn't it? But either one will get you to the same place.
Yeah, but we are offering a $100 gift card to any merchant that installs this and tries it out for a little bit. So my email is really easy to reach me at. It's just adam@route.com. But yeah, we'd love to connect with you directly and answer your questions.
Yeah, I love it. And in all honesty, I want that route post-purchase refund experience. I want that for the other 45% that don't opt in. I want that tool separate, if that makes sense. I want that. I love that Route has that tool and offers that, but I want that tool also inside my brand so that I can do that. It's kind of sad. This is a little off topic, but at a former company I worked at, BoxyCharm, which I talk about a little bit, they made the refund process painful for the customer service team. The first, they told you that they needed you to take a picture of the box if it was damaged. And at some point, they accidentally told somebody to take a picture of the box when they said the box didn't show up. So they just took a picture of their hand, right? And it's like, obviously, this is a bad experience. Getting them to take a picture of the box is big time overkill. They were just concerned that there was so much fraud going on, right? And I was like, look, if they're going to fraud you, they're going to fraud you. Give them like, at least 1 or 2 free chances. If it's like every month they're frauding you, then cut them off as a customer. Sure, like that's the end. But like, it was just like the process for refunding costs maybe $8 in total customer service cost for a $21 product. So obviously, like with a 5-step checkout process, essentially it was what you've built. No real communication needed. That's the dream. It just seems like so much value right there. Gabriella says, nicely presented. I agree. She's registered for a demo. I think there's a lot of value with this tool, and you downplayed it a little. And I want to be careful because I don't want to say that somebody asked it in one of the Q&As, like, how do I take advantage of the coronavirus? And I'm like, look, we're not here to take advantage of the coronavirus. But if there's a change in sentiment and user sentiment towards buying insurance today, this could be the perfect opportunity to use a tool like Route, which is going to increase customer experience. It increases brand loyalty. It increases conversion rate overall. So it seems like a really good time to be installing Route. So I think you guys are probably in a really good spot to have a bloom of customers yourself. While many of us in e-commerce, I talked to a few businesses today in our virtual networking, are having a hard time with it. So it's good to see that there's some silver lining around here. Does it work with Australian Post, by the way, is a question.
Yes,
anywhere.
It does. Anywhere. Now, that's true for tracking packages with Australian Post as well as for insuring packages.
Nice. Yeah, love it. Awesome. Adam, thank you so much. And thank you everybody that's still here, sticking around until the end. We have had an amazing event. I just realized I need to give away this Ultimate Tech Tool bundle, don't I? No, actually there's no giveaway listed here. We usually have some sort of prize to give away. I'm going to do a random number drawing, and I'll send that out in our follow-up email, which will also have your links to these sessions. So every session here will be recorded and posted on our YouTube. It'll be available for free and also be linked up to the marketing20.ecommercetech.io website. Let's take a second. Ed's still here, and I don't know what beer he's on. No, I'm just teasing, because we said cheers earlier. But let's look back at what we learned today. It's been a long day. I started with live chat, which was always centered around improving the customer experience. We're ending here with shipping insurance and post visual tracking for your package, which is another customer experience play. Notification emails, improving the quality of them and putting the right discounts and offers inside those. It's all sometimes it sounds like that's self-serving. Sometimes it sounds like live chat is self-serving, but all of these things really focus on just improving the customer experience. Whether you're starting a new brand or growing like a Chubby's that we saw earlier, or somewhere in between, there is an experience that you need to be creating that is unique to you. And on day one, it's not going to feel very different. It'll basically be like it's an out-of-the-box Shopify store. But on day 100, it'll start to be crafted and molded a lot more towards you. And by the end of your first year, you should, have been able to create a moat. At this point, for the growing and scaling businesses, it's about continuing to firm up that moat. And the moat is not just the channel experience. Yes, you have to be on the channels. It's not a question. Omni-channel is the future. The question is just whether you want to live in the past or live in the present, really. And then we could even get into more of the futuristic stuff. So we have to be there. We have to make sure that we're saying the right things. And actually, if you guys are still listening to me, in that beauty virtual summit that we did, and when you get the link to this playlist, you can just go the playlist next to it will have some of the beauty talks. There's a lot of talk about how you could analyze user-generated content as well as Google Trends data to understand your customer a little bit better. And I think that speaks really strongly to what we're aiming for here. Just continuously iterating and improving the customer experience. I also recommended to Bjarni and a few other people today, if you're still listening, to talk to your customers. Actually talk to them on the phone. Change your post-purchase email to just say, or your loyalty program can add a line that says, call, if you book a 15-minute call with the CEO of the company, we'll give you these loyalty points, or just, can I steal 15 minutes of your time, or whatever it is that you say. Talk to the first customers, you're each, let's say 5 customers a month on the phone, something along those lines. And this goes for, the CEO. It doesn't matter if you're doing $5 million, $100 million a year. If you aren't talking to the customers, you lose real insight into who they are. You know who might be posting about you on social media, but do you know the average customer? Because the average customer isn't going to do that, right? Only really enthusiastic customers or really pissed customers are going to do that. So there's a lot that can be gleaned from this. What else? We saw Kurt Elster's website teardowns. We talked, of course, about omnichannel. We talked about messenger marketing using click-to-messenger ads and sponsored messages. We learned how to run our first TikTok campaign, or at least launch our brand there. Of course, we talked about customer service and what pre-sales customer service can mean to our business. And we, of course, went deep into pop-up segmentation and understanding the on-site behavior. What I do wish that we had a session on, by the way, is personalization, deep personalization. I tried to get Sharon Goldstein from LimeSpot in here, but unfortunately she wasn't able to make it today. So I think that there's more that we could talk about on personalization. Also, real split testing, like split testing a product detail page, A/B testing. These are other ideas. I'm just throwing random things out at you, but I know you want to get out of here. I really appreciate you sticking around until the end, everybody that's here. We will, again, send that follow-up email with the links to all the sessions. You can check out the show notes for a lot of just a quick rundown, a list of the tools, links to the tools. I do appreciate if you check out our partners and sponsors. That's how we're able to do these events for free. I'll see you guys next time at the next Future of E-commerce event. And I would love to talk to you anytime about reviewing your tech stack. That's what I specialize in. And again, it's completely free. We just look at the tools you're using, look at the size of the business, and kind of match up some of the problems you're having with resources and say, here are the things you should implement. Be happy to talk with you about that. My email is somewhere around here. You probably got 12 emails from me today, so I'm sure you can find it. All right. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time.